Good afternoon. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET. Now we had a series of numbers that were coming in and that Shrishti took you all through as well. Maruti, Cipla, both terms of numbers were good as of now. But on that note, let's get started with other stocks that are buzzing in trade either on the back of news flows and technicals. And from the research team today, we have Lisa as well as Ankita joining in with us as well. A very good afternoon to you all. And I'll be starting with the first stock that's in focus, and this is on the back of its numbers. It reported yesterday, that's Prudent Corp. Now, when you look at the numbers that have come in from the company, look at the total commissions for this quarter. They've seen a growth of 29% on a year-on-year basis, 15% growth sequentially as well. Even the operating profits of the company, that has also seen a growth both YOY as well as sequentially, 7% growth YOY, and quarter-on-quarter basis also we are seeing a 10% growth coming in. Profit too, strong growth of around double-digit growth, 10% growth on a year-on-year basis. Profits came in at 30 crores. Overall, the EBITDA margins of the company have come in at 22.1% versus 23%. That's on a quarter-on-quarter basis, so slight bit of a contraction in terms of the EBITDA margins on a quarter-on-quarter basis. But all in all, seems like a decent set of numbers that came in from the company, and as of now, the stock is holding on to gains of 1.3%.
Okay, moving on to some of the other result candidates as well. Aditya Birla Sun Life AMC has come out with its numbers, wherein this time we have seen a jump on their revenue front. That's seen a jump of 7.5% on a YOY basis. The company clocked in 335 crores over there, but the profit has seen a decline of 7.5% on a YOY basis. The company's profit is at 178 crores, so mixed set of numbers coming in, and that's why we are seeing that though the broader markets are supportive today, the stock is not doing much in trade today, down about 1.7% as of now.
Okay, let's move on and bring on board Dhwani Patel also to talk about the stocks on the technical front. Dhwani, very good afternoon to you, and thank you so much for joining in with us on Market Fatafat as always. Let's talk about your first stock, that is for today, is Adani Ports. Now, on the charts and technical levels, how is Adani Port looking like? Last 6 months, we've seen around a 18-19% return. What are you expecting now?
We're talking about Adani Port. What interest on technical front right now is that the stock is taking up a support over here at the 200 exponential moving average, and today we are seeing some follow-up buying also coming in this counter. From current level, one can go long into it for a mean reverting trade of 800 right now, and the stop loss that you need to maintain over here on the lower side is of 775.
Okay, moving on, and Lisa, you have picked up Venus Pipes. Tell us why is that so?
Yes, so Venus Pipes is in focus on the back of very good set of numbers reported by the company. If I look at the revenue, it saw growth of around 50% on year-on-year basis, and that was mainly driven by the recent capacity expansion as well as backward integration. If I talk about the segments, the stainless steel seamless pipes, that witnessed around 150% year-on-year growth, while the welded pipes that grew, that was quite flat on year-on-year basis. But the margin that they reported, that was 18%, the highest ever margin reported by the company on quarterly basis. The PAT, that was also up around 100%, and the surge in price, that was mainly triggered by the company's outlook going forward, because the management said that the second half is looking better for the company compared to the first half. So on the back of good prospects for the company going forward, and also on the back of strong results, Venus Pipes is surging away in trade. It was up around 10% in early morning trade, and now it's up around 8% as we speak.
Okay, that is Venus Pipes for you all, buzzing in trade on the back of its numbers. Let's move on and talk about the next stock on the technicals, and that is L&T Financial Holdings. And Dhwani, today the stock is surely buzzing away in trade. Last 1 month also, mild returns is what it's managed to give. From here on, what are you expecting L&T Finance? Where do you see it headed?
The stock is headed from current levels, 143 is stop loss that one here on the lower side is of 133. On technical front, also what is interesting over here is that on a weekly chart we are seeing the RSI giving again a upward move above 90 level, which suggests a trending up move over here in this count.
Okay, so that was L&T's take by Dhwani. We're moving on, and Ankita, from the pack you have picked up GR Infra. Tell us what's the news flow on this counter.
Yes, Shrishti, GR Infra is in focus today because the board has approved the proposal for divestment of 21% equity stake held in the wholly owned subsidiary company, which is which is called Nagpur Mukundgarh Highway. And on the back of this news flow, we're seeing the stock pick up 2.5% in trade today.
Okay, surely keeping an eye out on GR Infra. But let's move on and talk about Coal India on the charts then, Dhwani. Again, Coal India today is buzzing in trade. Last 6 months, when I'm looking at it, the company's actually managed to give 36% returns. And this run-up seems like, has come in force from September, especially for Coal India. Do you see this run-up continuing?
Absolutely. I've seen some poised movement due to market weakness over here in this particular counter, but the stock has taken up a support at 108 levels and we are seeing upward move. Today's move is definitely the one where one can take a fresh entry in this counter. Short-term target over here of 325 as per the derivative data can be expected on this counter. Stop loss over here has to be maintained at 309.
Okay, that was about Coal India, but let's talk about Canara Bank then. And this particular counter posed the earnings because yesterday it was quite a weak market, so we did see a bit of a spike coming in. But today the stock is roaring in trade today, 6.5% gain, and that's after post the company's numbers. There was a con call wherein very strong management commentary coming in, and even Motilal Oswal recommending a buy on this particular counter, and also giving a target price higher than the current market price. If we talk about the company's earnings, and so the management says that they are procuring new deposits at a higher rate, and CASA is growing due to the initiatives taken. Retail term deposit growth is faster than CASA, and the average rate of interest for the retail term deposit is now standing at 7%. The NIMs will bottom at 2.9%, and the guidance has been revised, where the timing of NIM bottom will depend on the liquidity availability, and they target the CD ratio at 78%. So that was the management commentary by Canara Bank, stock holding gains of 6.5%.
Okay, that is Canara Bank. Look at the up move that has seen 6.5% uptick coming in for Canara Bank. But let's move on and I believe we already picked out L&T for Dhwani as well. So we'll come back to Dhwani again for another stock. But I'm going to talk about Shalby, and this one is in focus today on the back of its numbers. They reported its Q2 earnings. When you look at it, the Nifty, the net profit of the company saw an uptick of around 50% on a year-on-year basis, coming in at 27 crores approximately versus 18 crores last year. Revenue too saw a jump of 18%, while in terms of the operating performance, we're seeing EBITDA see a growth of 42% YOY, and margins a sharp expansion there as well, 22.2% versus 18.4%. So on the back of that, we're keeping an eye on Shalby today. Look at the gains that have come in for the stock. It's up 7.5% in trade today, especially that spike up came in the stock when the numbers were announced. Still holding on to gains there.
Okay, Dhwani, coming to you. The next stock that you have picked up is Data Patterns. Tell us how the chart's looking like for this stock.
Yeah, so for Data Patterns, what we are seeing is similarly kind of a chart structure or a trade setup, what we just talked about in Adani Ports. It's more of a mean reverting trade over here. The stock again has taken up a support at a 200 period exponential moving average. What interests is that the volume since last two sessions is picking up in this counter. One can go long into it for a target of 2060 over here, or stop loss ideally one needs to maintain over here is of 1850.
Okay, keeping an eye out on these levels for Data Patterns. But let's move on, and Lisa, Shriram Finance too is in focus on the back of numbers as well.
Right, Vinny, Shriram Finance, they reported very good set of numbers, and it's reflected in their stock price movement as well. The stock was up around 9% in early morning trade, and it's up around 8% as we speak. So they surprised positively on the NIIs as well as the PPOP. The NII, that saw a growth of around 22% on year-on-year basis, and even the PAT, that saw a growth of around 13% on year-on-year basis. Even the asset quality saw good improvement. The GNPA, that improved by 24 bips on quarter-on-quarter basis, and even NNPA, that improved 16 bips on sequential basis. Well, analysts expect that the loan growth going forward, that will be stable for the company, and also the asset quality also will see some improvement on the back of fall in credit cost. Motilal Oswal analyst also said that Shriram Finance is yet to explore and exploit its distribution network for the products like MSME as well as its gold loans. So on the back of good set of numbers, Shriram Finance is surging away in trade today.
Okay, let's shift focus to Birlasoft then, and Dhwani, this is the counter that you have picked up, and from the IT space we have seen Birlasoft doing quite well for itself. Tell us what's the next target that you are looking out for.
We've already seen that IT space is doing well today, and especially the mid-cap IT like Persistent, Birlasoft, they are moving really well. Birlasoft especially comes on my technical radar for the reason being that ADX is giving me a positive crossover here, and the stock is also trading above all of its short-term and long-term moving averages. From current level, one can go long into it, and on a conservative side, the target can be expected as of 560. Stop loss ideally over here in this particular counter comes up at 529.
Okay, keep an eye out on Birlasoft on those levels over there. But on that note, viewers, we're going to sip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be continuing with all the other stocks that are buzzing in trade after this break.
Welcome back to Market Fatafat, a show where we are telling you all the counters that are buzzing in trade right now, and let's shift focus to another stock, that is KNR Construction, and this particular counter is in focus as Motilal Oswal has come out with a note where they maintain their buy rating on this particular counter, and they are saying that the order book is quite healthy, and they are quite positive that going ahead the order book will definitely support the earnings. They have recommended a buy with a target price of 315 rupees, and what they are saying that the company is awaiting new orders inflow, and the outlook definitely looks bright for KNR Construction. That's currently has an executed order book of around 8,000 crores, and the company is expected new order inflows in the range of 4,000 to 5,000 crores in FY24, which should improve its growth visibility beyond FY25, as Motilal is highlighting. The order pipeline is of 4.5 lakh crores, and that's quite robust, and the management is confident of achieving a sizable order inflows in FY24 despite the upcoming busy election schedule, and that's why this particular counter is in focus.
Let's move on to Power Grid then. And Ankita, why is this one in focus? What's the news for you today?
That's correct, Winnie. Power Grid is in focus today, and if let's look at the stock, it is up almost 2.5% in trade. Now, it is on the back of the news flow that it has acquired Ramgarh 2 Transmission Limited. The project SPV is likely to establish a transmission system for evacuation of power of REZ in Rajasthan, which is around 20 gigawatts. It is under phase 3 part C1, and this entity is acquired for an aggregate value of around 18 on approximately 19 crores. And on the back of this news flow, we are seeing an uptick of almost currently it has eased off a little. It is up 0.9%, but the stock was up a good 2.5% in trade today.
Okay, moving on, and Dhwani, coming to you from the back, you have picked up UPL. This particular counter just yesterday we did see hitting a 52-week low for itself. Are you expecting a rebound in this counter, or still some bearishness on the charts?
So the reason why I picked it up technically is that the stock has also given a structural breakdown. Over here on a daily chart, we'll be seeing further fall coming in on this counter, and it's a sell call coming in from current levels. One can expect that the stock would show the levels as low as 530, and then I wouldn't be surprised if 500 also comes up on this counter positionally over here. Stop loss over here that now one needs to maintain over here is of 580.
Is UPL for y'all. Keep an eye out on those levels over there. Let's move on and talk about Maharashtra Scooters. That too came out with its numbers overnight, and when you look at the numbers that have come in for the company, we're seeing that the revenue for the company on a year-on-year basis has seen a growth of 7%. The operating performance seems to be a bit strong as well, 7% growth, I beg your pardon, in terms of the EBITDA, while margins of the company around 50 to 100 basis point increase in terms of the expansion in terms of the EBITDA margin. Profits, a while growth of 4%, but as of now you can see the stock has given up its morning gains, trading with cuts of 0.3% in trade.
Okay, Lisa, coming to you for the next counter, and all these banking stocks are seeing a rebound, and from the pack you have picked up Karnataka Bank. Why is that so?
So Karnataka Bank I picked on the back of its fundraising plan. So they are so it's spurted around 5 6.9%, as we can see flashing on the screen. And this is because the board has approved a fundraise of around 800 crore, and they have allotted 3.3 crore shares at a price of 239.5 per share. And they will be raising funds from 5 marquee institutional investors, namely HDFC Life Insurance, Bajaj Alliance, Bharti AXA, as well as Bajaj Alliance. So the management said that it's a major step in the transformational journey of the company, and it will fortify the position of the company in the financial space. And they have allotted the shares on a preferential basis to these institutional investors. So yes, on the back of the fundraising plan by Karnataka Bank, it's surging away in trade today.
Okay, moving on to the next query, next stock that is in focus, I beg your pardon. That is, we are looking out for the numbers from Dr. Reddy's, and this particular count is in focus because the numbers are upcoming and we are expecting a decent set this time around. For Dr. Reddy's, we are expecting the profit to actually decline on a double-digit front. 11% decline sequentially is what we are expecting, and the profit figure at 1,246 crores. Margins even expected to see a decline from 30.4% last quarter to 27.9% this time around on the back of subdued G-Revlimid sales in the US and a tepid growth in their India business. The revenue is expected to be flat on a quarter-on-quarter basis, and EBITDA too expected to be down around 8% at 1,891 crores. So Cipla earnings are out. They were quite robust. So let's see how Dr. Reddy's perform. Earnings due today.
Absolutely, let's keep an eye out on that one. But let's move on and talk about Nippon Life or NAM India as we know it. Dhwani, this one is making the list of a lot of technical analysts. What is looking so exciting here? Last 6 months, we've already seen a 57% return.
Absolutely. We've seen good phenomenal returns coming in on this counter. It was basically a reversal of the downward move that we've seen since 2021 in this. And then post this upward rally, we are also seeing the stock trading now above 61.8% Fibonacci retracement level technically. And that is what is interesting me for further on this counter. Short-term target over here that can be expected on this counter is a 420 positionally over here. The stop loss that you need to maintain over here is a 360.
Okay, let's move on to the next counter. And Ankita, you picked out Colgate. This one reported its numbers. What's the stock doing? What are the brokerages saying?
That's correct, Vinny. Colgate reported its number, and a couple of brokerage notes that came out today. One was by Jefferies, and Jefferies is maintaining a buy on this particular counter, and they've hiked the target price to 2,320 rupees from 2,180 rupees per share. They feel that the volumes have been flat, but the pricing power has led to the earnings growth. Now, they've also reported a subdued volume trend with nearly flat volumes on a year-on-year basis, but the input basket also declined around 9% on a year-on-year basis, and the bulk of which Colgate has already retained. But they're maintaining a buy on the counter and hike the target price, and we can see that giving an uptick of almost 2% to the particular counter. So Colgate is up 2% in trade today.
Okay, so that was about Colgate. But with this, viewers, it's time to wrap this edition of Market Fatafat. Thank you so much, Lisa, Dhwani, as well as Ankita for joining us and highlighting all the counters that are seen to be buzzing. As of now, the market's holding on to the gains. Good to see that almost 200 points gain coming in on Nifty 50. But Winnie, you can't take your eyes off from the auto pack. Out of the 10 Nifty 50 gainers, 4 are for the auto companies.
Absolutely, 4 auto companies coming in there and keeping an eye out on the Nifty Auto as well. But with that, we are out of time on this edition of Market Fatafat. Goodbye from Shrishti, myself, as well as the team who put this show together.